Good morning, everyone. I actually woke up before the sun today to make the long drive out to Pottsville, Pennsylvania. This is a beautiful little town in a beautiful area. And why am I out here so early? And what is that noise you hear in the background? Look what I found. I found some Reading and Northern Buddliners. These are the little trains that come in and out of Jim Thorpe. For most of the year, they run from Reading Outer Station into Jim Thorpe, but for October, they're doing fall foliage rides from Pottsville to Jim Thorpe. These are commuter cars that were built in the 1950s by the Budd Company in Pennsylvania. I do not know the model number or designation on these, but Reading and Northern operates these. They have 3 of them. We're walking past 9168 right now. They operate these regularly on the weekends, and we're going to ride one of these cars today into Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. And you know I go there all the time anyway, but this will be a different way for me to get there. Taking a look inside the cab here. These cars are all self-propelled. This is 9166. This is their Refreshment Car. And you might recall a video I did earlier this year where I caught 9168 and 9166 parked near the station in Jim Thorpe. And Reading and Northern, I usually see these two operate as a pair, but Reading and Northern actually has 3 of these. I've never seen 9167 operate that I can recall. It's parked here. This is Union Station in Pottsville, which is mostly used as the Greyhound bus terminal, but these rail lines come in the back. They do consider it an intermodal station. This is car number 9167. And you can probably hear it's gotten a lot quieter since I've walked away from the other 2 cars. Would be neat to see the 3 of these operate together. A little bit of my own personal history with the Budd cars. The town I grew up in, the time had a commuter station, and the trains would come in from New York City every evening. And a lot of nights my father would take my sister and I over to the station after he got home from work, and we'd watch the cars come in. And the big thing for us was guessing, was it going to be 2 of them or was it going to be 3 of them? And I think more often than not it was 2. Hard to remember, but I do know that it was always a special treat when it was 3. So we're going to be riding one of these 2 today. I'm not sure which one. This is looking at for now it's the back of the train. I believe when we pull into Jim Thorpe it'll be the front of the train. But these cars will be heading in the direction of the mountain you see in the distance there. And I should mention I'll be making today's trip with my friend JP Videos. Check out his YouTube channel. I'll be putting a link in the description to my video. And that's him over there in the blue Conrail sweatshirt doing his filming for his video. And in the background you can see Union Station. And again, that's Budd car number 9167 parked next to it. And going down the line here, we've got 9166, the Refreshment Car, and then 9167. So let's get our tickets and get on board and have ourselves a beautiful ride to Jim Thorpe. I'll see you there. 1968. And this will be the front of the train as we depart to Jim Thorpe. There's my truck. And I'm somewhere about in the middle of the car. There's another half of the car back there. And I've got Jay sitting in front of me for now. And we might have to share a seat if this fills up a little bit more. But when we get to Port Clinton, this will actually make a change of direction at the switches. And then it'll head back north through New Ringgold. And I believe we're going to go over High Bridge into Hometown through Nesquehoning and then finally into Jim Thorpe.
That's a bar there. That was a bar.
And we're making our first stop to pick up passengers at Schuylkill Haven. I don't know if you can see it through the window here, but Reading and Northern has acquired some new passenger cars from Iowa Pacific, Rio Grande. They are orange and brown, and they're parked off to the right side of the train here. And we are now pulling out of Schuylkill Haven. We stopped to pick up some passengers. And we are heading towards Port Clinton. Port Clinton is the headquarters of Reading and Northern, so I'm sure we're going to see some interesting stuff when we pull in there. Continuing our trip south, we're getting close to Port Clinton, and hopefully the camera's picking up the beautiful colors of the fall foliage. That's one of the reasons they run this trip in October. I gotta say, we're probably not having as vibrant of a season as we did the last 2 years, but it's still really pretty. You can see a lot of the yellows and oranges and reds, and then you've got I'm not sure what this little creek is here. I know we're near the Schuylkill River. I don't know if this is actually the river. Actually, it might be. I'm not sure. But it's like this beautiful blue-gray. Kind of has this misty look to it. First major stop of the day. This is Port Clinton. We are pulling into the headquarters of Reading and Northern. This will be our last stop to pick up passengers. You can see there's diesel number 3059 being repainted, and there's one of the new Iowa Pacific cars. Here are the F units, 270 and 275. They've got their Polar car. Wow, here is the new dome car they got from Iowa Pacific. And we're pulling into the station. There's a bunch of eager people ready to board. Got some Reading and Northern coal cars, hoppers over here. Boxcar. I wish I could look at both sides of the trains. We've got shops on both sides of the train here. This is where they do all their maintenance and repair work. There's an old F unit waiting to be fixed up. And another. Oh, wow. Southern Railroad Company of New Jersey. I never even heard of that one.
Right here.
This is a rail fan's paradise here, folks. And yeah, so now that I know where we're at, this is indeed the Schuylkill River here. The windows on these cars open, which is pretty cool. And give you a look outside the train now that we're stopped. And what will happen here is the train will change directions to get on a different track. We'll pick up some passengers, and then we will head north towards Tamaqua. All right, so the engineer has walked to the other cab at the other end of the train. We have flipped our seats around, so we're still facing forward, but now we're on the right side of the train instead of the left. In one of these shops, I don't know which one, is the Reading T1 number 2102, which is undergoing restoration, and hopefully we're going to be riding behind it next year. Here's some of the diesels parked off to the side. I don't know how well this camera is picking them up. Through the open window here as we pass the station. Port Clinton Junction. We got a bunch of excited people out here ready to get on and ride the train with us to Jim Thorpe.
So is this your first trip on this one right here? What, are we going to Jim Thorpe from here or not? Yeah.
Alright folks, we're now pulling out of Jim Thorpe. I'm sorry, we're now pulling out of Port Clinton. No need to rush our trip there. You can see the same diesels we passed on the way in. There's some other buildings off to the side here. I don't know how well the camera's picking these up through the window. And there's the beautiful Schuylkill River. This is now looking towards the front of the train. This had been the back of the train when we left Pottsville. This will be the front going the rest of the way. And we can see Reading and Northern's Road of Anthracite and Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway logos on the train. So we're now the back car. looking forward there. That's the refreshment car ahead of us, and we will go check that out. Alright, we're going to take a walk through this car, and we're going to go into 9166, which is the refreshment car. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You're doing great. It's our first time in this car.
Oh, okay.
You can see we're in the dining portion of the car. And then this is now the front of the train. This is car 9166. That's the passenger half of it. I don't know if you can see through the window. We're going through a fairly sharp left-hand curve somewhere between Port Clinton and Tamaqua. Just figured we'd come up to this car. I got myself a snack. I got some chocolate chip cookies and water. We're almost to Tamaqua.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. We're going through what they call South Tamaqua right now.
Oh, right there.
So now we're getting into town. Alright guys, so you probably heard me talking to my fellow passengers there. We are heading north into Tamaqua, and we're passing through Reading and Northern has a rail yard just south of town here. Should be able to see the town coming up straight ahead. The station, unfortunately, is going to be on the opposite side of the train from me. But you've seen me film from Tamaqua Station before. That's where I caught the rail speeders in action earlier this year. And I'll just pan the camera here and we can take a look at the town of Tamaqua. And you'll see a steam engine and a Plymouth parked off to this side. You'll see a little park here. The station is off to my left now. You can't see it. This is the parking lot for it. Under the cover, you have that green Plymouth. And then you got a pretty unusual steam engine there. I wish I could tell you what it is, but I'll have to do some research. Yeah, just like that. We are through Tamaqua. This particular excursion does not stop there, but I believe when they run the bud cars out of Reading up to Tamaqua, I believe it does stop here. would love to have one of these houses watching the railroad tracks. I'd probably never get any work done anymore because I'd be running out every time I heard the train horn.
What's that, the train trip?
Yeah, and that's more or less it for the town. The road that you're seeing across the creek there is Route 309. And the leaves are looking pretty colorful up here. I'll let the camera run a little bit longer because we're seeing some pretty nice colors off to the side here.
If I can't walk, I can't walk.
Hey guys, we went into it suddenly and I had to pull the camera out.
There's a camera in my view. See the smoke billowing too.
Oh, we just went past it.
They're putting them everywhere.
If I can get something on my phone, I need something on my phone.
Okay, so our conductor has announced that we are finally coming up on Hometown High Bridge. This is a place that I have seen other people's videos and I've heard a lot about, but I have never seen firsthand or ridden across firsthand. And I didn't catch what they said the height was, but they said it's 1,000 feet long.
That's 60 feet high.
And here, 60 feet, 160 feet.
Wow, look at the view.
Look at this, guys. There's the bridge, one of the support towers below us.
And they're creeping over to give us a spectacular view.
Well, that's how far
It doesn't get better than that. What is that, 160 feet?
I think that's what they said. You can see down into the valley there. You can see the supports of the bridge going by. They've slowed the train down so we can take a better look at everything. And wow, you can really see the fall colors now. That is, I believe that's actually the clouds drifting by, not the diesel smoke.
That was incredible.
Pretty impressive.
Depending on whatever side of the train you sit on, it is on both sides.
Like we're out in the wilderness here, but we've got one of our fellow YouTubers rail fanning us today, and hopefully any minute we're going to be going past and seeing them wave, and I'll tell you who it is when we get there. He's probably at the crossing. Alan! Alright guys, that's our good friend Alan from Revenge of the Apocalypse. Unfortunately, yeah, this is shutting down.
You make fire trucks too?
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Where's the good place to eat, Jim Thorpe?
Molly McGuire's right across from the train station. Here's where 209 comes in. Alright guys, we're getting close to Jim Thorpe. This is downtown Nesquehoning here. This is where 209 and 54 come together.
I see it.
We're past the Nesquehoning. Where's the blue house?
Kids waving.
Passing through Nesquehoning right now. Closing in on Jim Thorpe.
Interesting, there was a sign there that said Nesquehoning Station, but no station. I gotta imagine that at some point in town there was a station.
What are they playing?
Mark's Hall yet. They're home.
What's that? In Jim Thorpe.
This way.
You'll see it when we get into town. It'll be that way. There you go. There's a house for me. Has a nice big deck overlooking the rail line.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We're gonna try to get out the back window.
don't know how well you're seeing it. I think these windows are washed out, but that is the Y out to the freight bridge. And then you see the trestle bridge that we normally cross over on the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. We're looking into Lehigh Gorge here. So we're actually going to join up with the line that runs into town. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to go straight through or if we're going to have to wait for the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway to pass through first. They run extra trains for the fall foliage. It is a shorter ride. It's a 45-minute ride instead of the usual 70 minutes. So they run trains. I believe it's every hour. And here you can see we're going to be able to go straight through. All right, we didn't have to wait. We got Jay coming back here. Hey, Jay. And we'll be pulling into town in just a couple of minutes. Got one of the Reading and Northern switchers here. And then we got the turntable. This is the rail yard just north of Jim Thorpe. I usually show you guys stuff on the other side, but I don't see anything over there today.
There's one baggage car up here.
There's the old baggage car, which was the only one that was there when we passed through in late September. I know you haven't seen that video yet, but it's coming. This time riding on the rail closest to the stone wall here in Jim Thorpe, which is that's a first for me. There's usually other trains parked on this rail, and then we're riding on the one a little further away from this wall. And then to Jim Thorpe. Wow. Look how close this is. I am inboard of the windows, guys. Don't worry. This is really, really close. That's why they say keep all limbs inside of the car. This is literally the first time I will be arriving in Jim Thorpe by train. I've been here many times in my life, usually arriving by car or bicycle, and I'm usually taking the train out of town. This is the first time I'm actually getting to town via the train. This has actually turned out to be a longer ride than I anticipated with stops. It's been about 2.5 hours on this train, which is great. I mean, that's what it's about to me. I'm here to ride the train. You know, the fact that it happens to be taking me to one of my favorite towns, that's just a bonus. You can see the diesel smoke ahead here as we're pulling into town. So across the street, this used to be the subway, and it recently reopened as this Bear Mountain Junction. So this is actually, you can see the conductor getting out with the steps. This is actually where they're going to let us off. We're not actually going to get off at the station. So thank you for riding along with me. We're going to explore the town, and then we're going to ride back. And you know, as usual, I have no plan for filming, and I'll figure out what I'm doing when I'm editing. So thank you for riding along with me today. We're going to get out and explore the town for a few hours, and then we'll see you for the ride back. Thanks for watching.